So here in the US, we've had two mass firearm encounters take place in less than a 24-hour span. And as per usual, the people who are on the right side are like, this helps us. People on the left side are like, this helps us. And ultimately, what I want to do, first and foremost, is offer my condolences to everybody who was harmed or killed in either of these attacks. You didn't deserve it by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm from a place where, people get shot individually more than in large groups. So, and those shootings happen every single day. So if you were to add them all together, we'd be coming up with stronger numbers in, urban America as opposed to places such as El Paso and Dayton, Ohio. The big thing right now, and it's particularly coming from the left, is weapons control, firearm control. I don't want to use the normal phrase that's associated with it, primarily because YouTube algorithms, all that other fun stuff. But they're going ham talking about, oh, this has to stop now. We need control now. We need, to just take every single firearm off the face of the earth. Let me tell you something. There are more firearms in this country than people. So good luck getting them all. But I actually used to sit on that side of the fence. I used to think, hey, we need all the weapons control that we can get. But along the lines, I realized I'm from New Jersey, a place that already has a stunning amount of firearm control, yet it doesn't stop people from getting shot. It doesn't. And one of the main reasons I am now on the side of, no, keep the Second Amendment exactly where it is because of things like this that happened in Venezuela, which is why I'm using this article as the backdrop to this conversation. Because, yeah, after witnessing this, after seeing this take place, I was just like, you know what? Nope. We do need the right. I believe every American citizen should have the right to defend themselves. Now, what the two gentlemen from the last 24 hours have done, it's irreprehensible. It's messed up. Right? It's messed up, and it should never happen. And I, for one, feel as if we have a cultural role in what's taken place. Like, as far as the people who get it within themselves to go up and slaughter people in mass like that, part of me feels as if there's a level of cultural culpability that we have, a shared cultural culpability that we have, because, we've, over the past 40, 50 years in the United States, we've devalued the nuclear family unit, right? And so you have all these broken people coming from broken places. And, when you're that broken, shoot, man, who knows what could have prevented this. And there's also the element of white nationalism, which we've spoken of on this channel before, that you create your own boogeyman. You're creating your own monsters with that. When you sit there and have somebody say, hey, I like Trump, you're a Nazi racist, and all these other things, then you kind of just like push them away. You push them further into this mentality that, like, well, they were just looking to have a decent conversation. You completely spaz out on them. They're like, okay, well, I'm going to continue going down this path. And that's how we end up where we are right now on an individual level when it comes to the guys. But let's get into this BBC article on what happened in Venezuela. The Venezuela crisis, deadly border clashes as Maduro blocks aid. This was happened in February of this year, but I believe it's rather relevant as to the point that I want to get to. Deadly clashes broke out in Venezuela border towns on Saturday as President Nicolas Maduro blocked humanitarian aid from crossing from Colombia and Brazil. At least 2 people were killed by gunfire on Saturday, rights groups said, including a 14-year-old boy. Venezuelan troops fired tear gas and rubber bullets at protesters attempting to collect and transport the aid. So we're talking about people who are just hungry, sick, and these 2 countries, Colombia and Brazil, they tried to hook them up, but their government stopped them from getting really essential supplies. with guns. So so it's like, yeah, that just places way too much power in the government's hands, because Venezuela also did gun control. And here they are now, unable to defend themselves and unable to get any of the aid that they need because their government, it wants to be, prissy and feminine about it. The opposition wants the aid to go to people hit by the economic crisis. Mr. Maduro claims it is a security threat. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo condemned the attacks on civilians, which he blamed on Maduro's thugs. Our deepest sympathies to... Oh, all right. Wow, Jay. How'd you do that? Okay. Wow. Go away. All right. Our deepest sympathies to the families of those who have died due to these criminal acts. We join their demand for justice, he said in a tweet following the clashes. Mr. Pompeo also described the burning of some of the aid as sickening. Opposition leader Juan Guaido, who has declared himself interim president and helped to organize the aid, condemned the action by security forces. Mr. Guaido, who has been recognized as leader by dozens of nations, will meet U.S. Vice President Mike Pence on Monday in Bogota. He is attending a meeting, and on Saturday evening, Mr. Guaido posted a tweet in Spanish which implored the international community to be open to all options in order to liberate Venezuela from Mr. Maduro, who is continuing to resist all calls to stand down. And so, yeah, that's really my main reason that I wanted to use this Venezuela as, like I said, a backdrop to my argument that, yeah, we need the Second Amendment, guys. I mean, our government, nobody trusts the government. So, okay, not nobody, but anybody thinking with the more than 2 or 3 brain cells doesn't fully trust our government to, in any case. I mean, particularly now when you have all these people running around with Trump derangement syndrome. So, when you sit here and clamor for gun control, you're also like, it's such a double-edged sword, because if Trump, even if Trump did decide that he didn't want to leave the presidency, there's plenty of people who would make sure that he hopped his happy behind on out of there. But even though I think that's just bluster, like, he'd definitely leave because that job looks to be killer, man. It looks to be insanely taxing and demanding. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's just talking crap because he knows the media is going to eat it up. But as I'm saying, like, if he did decide to pull this type of nonsense, we'd have no way to defend ourselves as citizens. I mean, here in Jersey, if Governor Murphy so desired to pull some kind of nonsense like this, and he had a completely, just brainwashed and with him, National Guard and state police and county sheriffs as well, then there'd literally be nothing the regular residents and citizens of New Jersey could do. So while everybody sits there with their thoughts and prayers, and people and politicians look to maneuver these tragedies, because it's multiple ones, these tragedies into their own direction, their own favor, I just want to say that don't listen to them for the most part. And secondly, this feels, I was watching Simple, and he brought up how this seems like an escalation when it comes to I guess, social upheaval and starting another civil war here in the United States. And I still hold firm in the fact that these guys acted individually. They acted on their own. It's not like it's not like they're mobbing out there. And of course, there's plenty of people with hateful and bigoted mentalities. Yeah, true enough. But as far as what we can do, is my suggestion has been, reestablishing the nuclear family in Western society, in American culture, reestablishing it as a primary means of children rearing and things like that, as well as to reintroduce the mental facilities, and that's about it. Reestablish the nuclear family and reinstitute mental facilities, and try to help on a mental health type level. because ultimately, I sincerely don't see the ways in which these incidents could have been stopped in the first place. And that sucks. I don't know either one of the gentlemen who carried out these terrible plans. But the one thing that I do know is that blaming an entire race on it is ugly and disgusting. And that needs to get cut out immediately. So, with that being said, we're going to bring this one to an end. All the internet stuff. If you liked it, toss it a like. Go ahead. Dislike it, do that too. I'm not scared of you. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice and you want to get videos like this every single day. Share, because sharing is caring and YouTube's not going to do it. And speak. Let me know, what do you think in the comments? Do you have any better suggestion than, reopen, like, because the way I see things is that a lot of our problems, they begin from birth, and the situation someone finds themselves birthed into plays such a ginormous part of the individual they turn out to be, that there's really no other way to try to be proactive and prevent circumstances like this from happening. So, I mean, let everybody, if you have better suggestions or anything else like that, and also having facilities available for those when we see the warning signs, when we see, oh man, this guy, he a little off. Like, maybe somebody should stop on in and talk to him and see where his head's at, But even in that, even as we've done that, we've done such things before, but the system's just so many cracks for people to fall through, So maybe streamline that system. I don't know, but I'd like to know what you think. All right. And until the next one.